Kotoko swing scene. Afrani unable to make contact. And goalmouth Malik, can they get the opening goal? And Enoch Estebantin has put the Phobians ahead.
Throws with his chest and then blasts that one from close range. And 11 Wonders just didn't.
Enoch Esubontin was on the periphery at Hartlepool, but this time Didi Dramani seemed to be getting the best out of him. Match day 3 presented us with some goals and fine saves from the goalkeepers as well. Eric, I mean, 3 wins out of 3 for Heart of Lions. It seems they are growing from strength to strength.
Well, Mutala, I think those who followed the Ghana Premier League last season, if you were an ardent follower, you would know that Lions did come very, very close to the title until the last 2 games of the season, when they lost to Young Apostles, and then they had to drop out of the title chase. But clearly, we played them during the preseason. We played them twice.
Yeah.
Once the game ended 1-1, then the second time we lost. So if you see the Lions team, and knowing very well that Bashir Hayford has been around for quite some time, alongside Daniel Nieji, then clearly you will know that they will really be a force to reckon with this season.
Of course, and also Hartlepool smiling again, 1-0 win. It's a slim win, but 3 points for them.
Consistency. I mean, it's working for Masudi Dramani. And if you look at the team, clearly from the preseason, it was obvious that the team will perform. But there's one positive in the team, that is keeping clean sheets. Then the team is not doing well in terms of goal scoring. And I'm sure keeping clean sheets is now balancing the situation for them. I'm sure one of the key things Masudi Dramani will look up to is to create more chances and get more goals, because, like you mentioned, Esubontin is performing, Kakari is performing, Hamza, Issa, and then Frankie Buladuku would have more responsibilities as strikers in scoring goals. But it looks like the opponents also are defending extremely well whenever they play Hartlepool, especially per what they did in the preseason.
Well, let's see if Hartlepool can continue their fine form. This time they are coming up against Bechem United at the Nana Fosuji Abuo Park tomorrow. Big game to look forward to. So let's go through all the fixtures for match day 4. We already are very much aware that tomorrow there is that big one at the Nana Fosuji Abuo Park. As you already know, it is Hartlepool who travel to face Bechem United. And then on Saturday, there's Swedro All Blacks also coming up against BBN Gold Stars. Sunday has loads of the games to look forward to, because Asante Kotoko return to the domestic scene. This time they are taking on Heart of Lions in that one at the Barbayara Stadium. 11 Wonders will be at home as they come up against Young Apostles, with Bechem Chelsea facing Baseke Holy Stars. Samartex are also winless in their 3 games in the Ghana Premier League. They take on Adriana FC, with Medeama also coming up against Nations FC. Dreams would be at home. They've also gone 3 games without a win, and the Wilfred Dormont, they will be taking on Vision FC, and Hoho United will be back at the favorite Hoho Sports Stadium. This time, they are taking on Inform Karela United. Now, as I said, it is Hartlepool against Bechem United, and it's a big game that we are looking forward to. Eric, I mean, Hartlepool have not had too many joy at the Fosuji Abuo Park, but they will be smiling at this one, knowing that Bechem are not playing well at the moment.
In fact, the records says otherwise, because Hartlepool are one team. They've always beaten Bechem United, whether home or away. I don't know what is happening to the Bechem United team, but clearly they have not started the league very well. And they've lost their first 2 games. And I don't know how they are going to manage with this Inform Masud Didi Dramani's team. But clearly, a win for them will boost their confidence in this particular encounter. But if they fail to win, then it means they travel away again in the next game. And I think that will make it very, very difficult for them.
From what you've seen, is it a change, the managerial change, or a change in personnel, which is really affecting Bechem?
I think they did change the coach before they went for preseason, and that should have been enough. But clearly, they are still not getting it right. Aminu Mohamed, Mo, you will be able to tell us. Has he started any game yet?
No, he's not played yet.
He's not played yet. So maybe he gets a chance against Hartlepool. Let's see what he presents. But I'm sure Bechem are not one of the teams who normally starts the league in this manner. At least a win in the first 2 games will always be okay for them. But clearly, they haven't really done so well this particular season. And I hope they get their acts right against Hearts of Oak.
Mo, now let's shift to Hearts of Oak themselves. 3 games, 2 wins and a draw going to Bechem, knowing that Bechem United are not in fine form. What should Didi Dramani do differently to ensure they get their 3rd victory?
A difficult test, and this is one of the games to determine if Hearts of Oak really wants to do something this season. One, Hearts of Oak must approach the game from the flanks, because Bechem will come in gun blazing from Darwin, Yabua, Emmanuel Aban, and Aminu Mohamed, if given the opportunity, because the last game they played against Hearts of Lions, he wasn't on the bench. Now, if you look at the Hearts of Oak setup, they also have to take their chances, because clearly records have shown that Hearts of Oak always score at the Nana Fosuji Abor Park, and Bechem scores to draw the game. Last season, Hearts of Oak lost on the venue where Kofi Tumpu scored for Kotoko against Kotoko again.
I remember that famous goal.
Yes, and so clearly they are not on top form. They are not in good shape. This is where you get the advantage. If the opponents are not in good shape, you have to take advantage of them. In their last 6 matches as a club, Bechem have lost 2 of them at home. And Brekum Chelsea Spark, they've lost to Bibiani Gold Stars. They've drawn to Basake Holy Stars in their last 6 home games. They've won 2. And if you look at the opponents they've won against, they are Legon Cities and Young Apostles. Clearly, opponents who are not too tough. And so it will be a difficult one. Again, if you look at the performance of Hearts of Oak, both home and away, the last 4 games away, Hearts of Oak are unbeaten, and that gives them the advantage. I think it's a game for Hearts of Oak to lose.
Well, let's see if it's a game for Hearts of Oak to lose. But Stephen Desmond Botre Issa, all for Bechem United, has been speaking, and he is confident ahead of this big clash.
We've played 3 matches and we are doing very, very well, but there are some few things we need to work on to make the team a very complete one. The situation is ongoing and we are preparing very hard because we've played 3 matches and we have only 1 point. Honestly, we, as of it's a good side. They are playing very well. They've won all their matches, I think so. And we have to, give them the match of their own. We are preparing very well. We are making sure that the match will be ours because we are playing home. Yeah, when it comes to motivation, they are highly motivated and the boys are very ready to approach this match with all seriousness. Yeah, it's very, very manageable. Most of the injured players have come back and they are doing very well. Though the injury is 60-40 or 70-30, they are doing very good. Yes, I want the Bechem fans to know that it is not over. We started journey together, we have to end it together. And we are going to make them proud. We'll make them smile this coming Friday.
My target for this season is to improve on my performance last season. I'm going to give all my best so as to support the team to move forward. We are quite motivated coming to this game. We are giving out our best. We are giving incredible performance, but the goal scoring is not coming. So we are working much on it and we are going to perform. They should be expecting a marvelous game coming this Friday.
Emmanuel Aban Wenger for Bechem United and head coach Stephen Desmond Issa Botre there, speaking very confident ahead of this one. Eric, it looks like the Bechem family feel that this could be the turnaround for them against Hearts of Oak, because you get one, you need one big win.
It has to be.
Yeah.
It has to be. But one thing is for sure, playing against this Hearts of Oak team is a very, very difficult task for Bechem United, considering the fact that for now, their confidence is very low because of the way they've performed in the last 3 games. Assuming they had won a game at home, then it will spare on the fans. But if the fans come to the Nara Fosuji Abor Park, and I think they've already played 2 games at home.
Yeah,
They've played 1.
Just one game at home.
And then you are yet to win a game. Hopefully the fans will throng the stadium because it's Hearts of Oak coming to town. But if you fail to deliver, then it makes it much more difficult for you in your next game.
But
I hope Bechem should be able to pick.
Well, let's see what happens with that one. But you listen to Desmond Botre, and he feels that maybe his team has not gelled yet, and they may need like 4 games. So they feel that this game against Hearts of Oak is a make or break for them.
Yes, of course. But then if they don't approach it well, that will be a disastrous fixture because Hearts of Oak have always managed to get goals against the Bechem. Now you are going to play against a side which is more psychologically determined to win the league.
Yeah.
And so if you look at every Hearts of Oak player, remember, they are all battling for position. The position of Hamza Issa is being chased by Frankie Buladuku. From the flanks, Kakari's position, a lot of the players, Prince Owusu is also battling for that spot. So everyone wants to start for Didi Dramani, and that is where it becomes a challenge when the opponent is psychologically down. 3 matches, you've scored 1 goal, you've conceded in 2 of the games, and that is a terrible experience, especially when, like I said, 6 home games in the last 6 Premier League games, you've lost twice in those fixtures, and that means you are capable of losing a fixture at home. And if you look at the statistics between Bechem and Heart of Oak at home, in every season, if Bechem is winning, it's just a slim win 1-0. If Heart of Oak is winning 1-0, the only time we saw a cricket scoreline was 2 seasons ago when it ended 3-2 against Bechem United. So it's a game that will see a goal on Friday evening.
Well, it's full of sadness in the camp of Bechem United, but for Heart of Oak, they can be smiling knowing that they are in good form. Their head coach, Masood Didi Dramani, and midfielder Abdul Karim have all spoken ahead of the game.
I think that so far it's looking promising. There's still a lot to be done in terms of consolidation of so many factors, be it physical, the tactical elements, and then the point of mentality in terms of decision making. And so far it looks very promising, and we need to find the right consistency, and then we can try to be more sustained. The important aspect is that we are in the league season, and it's a huge marathon. It's not just a race. We finish 1 game and you think that is over. It's a series of games, and there will be very difficult situations. And so if your team can play and then keep clean sheets, I think it's a strong point to build on. I think that I expect that they are a good side. They play expansively, and then they are very strong in their transitional play. They are also very, more technical in terms of their individual qualities. Try to open up the game, cut you off on the flanks, and so these are areas that I expect that they will come up with, and so it's important that we respect what they have and then continue to trust in what we have.
Especially the good. Osha, Obia, I ready say so much. So when Mrs. Sopra say money GP say for my club na mom said because me free fiache I feel na me say coffee feeling the one somebody can say good there or some targets be players na kasa na you see and you say you achieve for first 5 matches, but I know the mean thing can have, but you go so I say achieve aka 2 matches na nyam ya do na yeah first match no me pese kwa na me su because of a draw now, boy.
Abdul Karim joined the Heart of Oak from Nations FC. Is also very optimistic that they are going to get 3 points against Bechem United. Now let's go to the screens and see what we have as far as numbers are concerned. And the man who likes to play with numbers, Mohamed Shaban, is already on the screen. So Shaban, let's take us through the last 5 games that Heart of Oak have played away against Bechem United.
Well, we've done a lot of interpretation of the game, and this is key for us to analyze what we expect on Friday evening. Now, this is the last 5 games hosted by Bechem United at the Nana Fosu Park against Heart of Oak in the Premier League. Now, the first fact to look up to on this fixture is that anytime Heart of Oak fails to score a goal, they lose the fixture. Now, let's go back. In 2022-23, Heart of Oak failed to score. They lost by a goal to 0. Again, in 2024-25, which was last season, Heart of Oak failed to score. And again, they lost the fixture. Now, if you look at the number of times Heart of Oak have scored, they've managed to pick a point. It means that the last 5 home games of Bechem United, if Heart of Oak scores, the chances of Heart of Oak winning is about 70%. And then we go back to the statistics in 2020-21, Heart of Oak won by 1 goal to 0. The following season, Heart of Oak drew 1-1, and this was when Suraj equalized, when Bechem United scored. This season, Heart of Oak won the league. Salif Ibrahim had the winning goal for Heart of Oak in that season. Then, in 2022-23, Bechem United scored. Heart of Oak failed to score. It was a victory for Bechem United. Again, the last 2 seasons, Heart of Oak had 3 goals against Bechem, and they won the fixture. So per statistics, 2 wins for Heart of Oak in 2020-21, then again 2023-24, 2 wins for Bechem United. That was in 2023-24, then again in 2024-25. Now, let me give you final statistics, Mutala. It means that Bechem United cannot win 2 consecutive seasons against Hartlepool at home. So let's go back again. In 2020-21, Hartlepool won. The following season, it ended in the draw. The following season, 2022-23, Bechem won. Again, Hartlepool won. Then Bechem United have won. So the statistics we have here, if Bechem United cannot win 2 consecutive seasons against Hartlepool in the last 5 seasons, then a difficult one for them.
Of course, and it's indeed a difficult one for them, but Hartlepool would be approaching this one with a lot of confidence. We'll look at how the 2 teams could set up. But Eric, so far you've seen Masoud Didi Dramani and what he's doing for Hartlepool. I haven't seen Hartlepool fans approach the season with so much confidence like this one. What is he doing right?
Well, Didi Dramani is that kind of a coach who would literally stop the game and correct all the wrongs or the mistakes that are being exhibited at the training grounds. And so clearly the boys are learning. He's a father figure, the way he approaches them and all that. And so he's that kind of coach who players would want to play for. And clearly when you speak to the players at Hearts of Oak, this is what is happening. In spite of the fact that some of them have not even played, they are so confident that they will get the opportunity to be able to play.
Well, let's get back onto the screens and look at how Hartlepool could shape up on tomorrow, the Nana Fosuji Park. That game, by the way, will be live on TV3 at 3 p.m. Now, we've seen Hartlepool try so many formations with a 3-back system being deployed by Didi Dramani. But with the injury to Ali Mohammed, how could they shape up against Bechem?
Well, Ali will not be available for the fixture due to injury. And then, of course, Kevin Osesibe is back. The last game, he failed to play for them due to injury. But this is how Hartlepool could set up. Initially, Mutala, the coach, wanted to go with the 3-back. Now, due to injury situations, he has to adopt the 4-back and then sit back, have 2 defensive midfielders, sometimes operate as 1 midfielder, then have more of the offensive players. So they all attack, they all defend. So it looks like Ransford Mensah would be from the left side of the team. Then we have one of the players, Amankwa Befi, who always search forward from this side. So Ransford Mensah, these 2 players would play a role. And this is what the coach does. Whenever they are surging forward, these 2 wing backs joins the attack. Then the opportunity for 2 centre backs, David Opoan-Frani having the opportunity to start with Kevin Osesibe. And so for the first time this season, we'll have these 2 pair playing because of injury situations of Hartlepool. Now, Coach Didi Dramani is deploying new strategies in playing his matches. And so if you look at his midfield, at a point in time, it was Hussein Mohammed in the midfield, Abdul Karim, and a bit of changes sometimes. But these 2 players are constant. Unfortunately, he would have to rely on Parku George due to the injury situations of Hussein Mohammed. So Parku George, one of the players. But then the coach really deploys 2 DMs. And so we have Rafael Amponsa and Abdul Karim. And so this is what it does. If Abdul Karim would join the attackers, then Rafael Amponsa was set back. And so usually you will see Abdul Karim and Parku George joining the attack. Then Rafael Amponsa was set back as one of the defensive midfielders. However, when Hartlepool are defending, you have Rafael Amponsa and Abdul Karim all sitting back and defending for the team. But usually this is the normal attack of Hartlepool, where we have Hamza Issa leading the attack. We have Martin Kakari from the right side. Then from the left side, we have Enoch Esubonti, who had a goal for them in their match day 3 encounter against Ichiman 11.
Well, solid one there. So it could be a 4-3-3. But it will come to you for the Bechem United, the probable lineup from Bechem United as well. But Hartlepool manager has tried different formations. The first time I'm seeing that from a Hartlepool manager in the Ghana Premier League, trying new things. And he's not scared to do that.
Yeah, he is an experienced coach. I mean, you need to be daring to be a coach because you may even be winning the games and the management will just wake up one day and say, look, due to 1 or 2 things, we've decided to part ways with you. Like it happened in the Gold Star situation. Nobody can convince you that Frimpong Manso was sacked because of footballing reasons. There could be other reasons. So for sure, if you're a coach, you need to, and when you deploy a strategy and it works for you, it's also an opportunity for you to try something new. So that when you go into game situations and then you meet up with a team that is playing similar. I listened to the post-match after the Champions League game between PSG and Barca.
Okay.
And Enrique was emphatic. He said, look, we came with the same style that they were playing. And so we really struggled in the first half. When we came back in the second half, we needed to change the entire setup to be able to get something out of it. Okay. So you need to try new things as a coach.
So for Bechem United, Mo, take us through quickly. It looks like they would also deploy the 4-3-3 system.
Yes, 4-3-3 system for Bechem United, and that is Issa Botry. That is how he wants to play. He always wants to attack his opponent. And clearly against Heart of Lions, we saw that the team dominated. Unfortunately, they are not getting the goals. And that is the big role of Darwin Yeboah, their centre forward. He needs to be getting the goals for his side. But if they are not creating chances, then the question is that why are the strikers failing to get them the chances? Now, one key player, Frank Amankwa, very experienced player, he will be part of the team. Then Kofi Tompo would also be part of the midfielder. So a battle of Paku George, Abdul Karim, and also Kofi Tompo and Frank Amankwa. These are well-established players in the Ghana Premier League. We saw what Kofi Tompo did last season for his side. Then one clinical winger, very swift, very intelligent, Emmanuel Aban, he would be playing from the left side. Usually we see him here. But then I don't know if the coach would still use Aminu Mohamed for the first time. He is likely to get the opportunity to start for the team. I saw August Nokra warming up for the side, and this role could possibly be for one of these players. But then the biggest strength of the Bechem United team is their two centre-back. And one of the players that needs mention is Yahweh Champon, and then Baba Moro Abdullahi. Sanut would also start from the left side. And a big responsibility for the Bechem United wing backs, because Heart of Oak will be surging forward. Ransford Mensah, Amankwa Befi will also have Paku George also joining them from both angles of the flanks. And that would be a game in the midfield, then again a game from the flanks, because we will see more of Emmanuel Aban surging forward, creating chances for Bechem United. Then at the part of Heart of Oak, we will see Martin Kakari also creating chances. So tomorrow at 3 p.m., it will be a game of the wingers.
Of course, and we will bring you that game live on TV3 and on Onuya TV. But one other game that everyone is looking forward to will be at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium, because Asante Kotoko, after their triumph in the CAF Confederation Cup over Kwara United, are back on the domestic scene. This time they are coming up against Heart of Lions, who have won their first 3 games of the season. And one interesting feature, the first defeat that Asante Kotoko had last season came at the hands of Heart of Lions. But the head coach of Kotoko, Karim Zito, remains confident going into this big clash.
Well, I think it's a very tough game. Looking at it this way, I think they played 4 good matches with Asante Kotoko. And I think the points were divided, or maybe they may have the bigger share of the points. So it tells you that we are coming to meet a club that with a key factor of consistency, because the boys started the league, won the qualified to Africa, to the Ghana Premier League, and up to now they are the players playing. So you see, in terms of consistency, they are one of the best clubs in the league, and definitely playing them both home and away will not be easy. But we've set our target to win the league, and they are part of those we are going to meet. So
Karim Zito there, not mentioned West. The target is straight to win the Ghana Premier League. Now, Eric, I mean, he says that if you're a Kotoko manager, there's no other target than to win the league. With what they've done in Africa, coming up against a team that beat them last season, how do you think Kotoko will fare? Because this is a dicey one.
Well, it's a very difficult game, because Lions, before they got relegated, were always a boogie side for Asante Kotoko. And it hasn't changed. Even in their first season, when they really struggled to stay up with a lot of drawn games and all that, Kotoko were struggling to beat them. So when you're a boogie side for any big club, anytime you are visiting their home grounds, it gives you a lot of confidence. You go into the game knowing very well that you have nothing to lose. Look, in a game between Heart of Lions and Asante Kotoko, nobody really wants to talk about Heart of Lions. Should they lose the game, it's normal. But if they win, it's big news. So history is always for them. And I'm sure Kotoko need to really set up, else this Heart of Lions team really know how to play games.
Well, we'll get into the numbers shortly, but before that, I mean, the head coach of Heart of Lions, Bashir Hayford, it could be a tactical battle of experienced managers. He has spoken ahead of the game. So, as one of the pivotal players for Lions, Lawrence Osei, the goalkeeper.
We want to win matches, so the number of goals that will come our way, we'll make sure we put them into the net, because that is exactly what we are doing every training session. We rehearse goal scoring because it has been a problem in Ghana football. So I have inculcated into my training program that every training session we have to end up with finishing. Well, the target is to do well. Last season we did well, so this season we want to do well. But we cannot target that, this and that and that. But what we want, because we take consolation from last 2 seasons where we struggled before we survived in the Premiership. So this time around, we don't want to. We want to struggle either with the first 4 or the first 6. So we don't want to go down. And so if you were second and you say you want to better up, it means you are going first. But we want to maintain our destiny and make sure we play beautiful football so that the result will manifest.
You know, goalkeepers, mostly they normally judge us by our clean sheets. So last season I had 16 clean sheets out of 31 games. So I'm trying to improve on it. Maybe I can go a little bit further from the 16, maybe 18 or 17. It will be fine. As we placed second last season, we can't drop for that one. It's not acceptable. So we are trying to maintain our spot or maybe go a little bit further. So if you are going a little bit further from second.
Lawrence Osei, goalkeeper, Heart of Lions, very instrumental for them. When the fixtures were released for match day 4, this was one fixture that caught my attention. You can't just predict. Mo, what do the numbers say as far as these 2 teams are concerned?
Mutala, interesting fixture, and this game would actually mean a lot to the Ghana Premier League. Again, let's go back to statistics. But before we delve deep here, the last time Kotoko beat Heart of Lions in the Premier League was way back in 2015. And then just after beating Heart of Lions, the second round, Kotoko lost the fixture at the Pando Stadium. Then Lions were relegated in that specific season. They finished in 14th place. Then from there, 2023-24, they gained promotion to the Premier League. And general manager made an emphasis on that. When they gained promotion in the Premier League, they were really struggling, but they managed a goalless draw against Kumasi Asante Kotoko. The following encounter, they won by a 1-0 at home. That is Pando Stadium. Last season was their second season since returning in the league in the 2023-2024 season. This is the results. They managed the win against Kotoko at the Obuasi Lincoln Stadium. That was when Kotoko played their home fixture that specific season. A goal by Kojo Obin Jr. Then the second leg ended 1-1. That was last season. Justice Blaze scored for Kumasi Asante Kotoko, and Fauzi Ali had the equalizer for Heart of Lions in the second half. Now, per the statistics we have here, in their 4 games against each other, Kotoko are yet to score a goal at home against Pando Heart of Lions. So this is Kotoko's fixture, 2023-24, 0-0 at home. Then again, 2024-25, they lost by a 1-0. And the emphasis is on the home results because Kumasi Asante Kotoko is hosting Pando Heart of Lions. But one more thing to add up to this. The last time Kotoko lost a fixture in the Premier League at home was way back in 17th November against Nations FC. That was when they lost to Heart of Lions. They went ahead to lose to Nations FC. Then they started doing the magic against Heart of Oak, and that fixture was their first home game at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. And in their last 11 home games in the Premier League, Kotoko have won 10. They have drawn 1. They drew against Bechem United in the fixture that ended 1-1. It means that Kotoko have been dominant at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. And Heart of Lions are also unbeaten this season, winning all their fixtures. And this is a big test between these two teams.
So it's a game that we'll be keeping an eye on, and it will also be on TV3 and on your TV on Sunday at 3 p.m. But one other game that is on Saturday, the famous Swedru Sports Stadium. 16 years after being in League One, they are back to the top division. This time they are coming up against Bechem Gold Stars. Swedru All Blacks, the new entrants, have shown that they can be strong at home. We saw what they did to Bechem Chelsea in match day 2, beating them 3-0. This time against a Gold Stars side that has lost twice to JS Kabylie.
Well, Mutala, not just at home. One interesting thing about this All Blacks team is the fact that match day 1, they went to the Dr. Kwame Che Sports Complex, and they scored first. The nations rallied behind to beat them. Match day 3, they were at the Doma. Adriana. And they scored first again. So clearly, if you have a team in the GPL who are not afraid to take the initiative by going ahead in games, scoring away from home, clearly it tells you that they are doing something right in terms of their attack. And we saw the only game they've played at home this season where they recorded 3 goals against Bechem Chelsea. I think this Gold Stars team, they look too demotivated to pick a point at the Swedru Sports Complex.
Okay, so let's see what happens with that game. It's on Saturday at 3 p.m. at the Swedru Stadium. Swedru All Blacks there playing at home against Bechem Gold Stars. Another game to look forward to because their last away encounter ended in a defeat. Medeama, this time they are playing Nations FC. I don't know what to make of Medeama because they started pretty well, but that defeat against Karela seemed to have hurt them. They are coming up against the Nations side that are also in search of a win.
Yes, Nations FC are a good side, but in recent away performance, they've been abysmal, and I'm sure if they really want to make an impact, these are some of the fixtures they need to pay attention to. But there's some key interesting players in the current Medeama SC setup, like one of them who has earned the Black Stars collar, Prince Owusu. You talk about Abdul Salim. Then you look at Kevin Nkrumah. We've spoken about him. And one interesting part of the Medeama setup is that they are always having the best of back four. That's something I always think about. And Kamal Adini Mahmoudou, they went in for Bafo, who is Desmond Bafo, who is a former player of 11 Wonders. And then Yusuf Mubarak, with his experience in the Premier League from Ashanti Gold to Kumasi Asante Kotoko, he's played a key role at their defense. Then they have Jacob Amu Mensah, a new centre-back who has 1 goal in 3 matches for them. He scored against Young Apostles, so a good side. But for Nations FC, they are yet to pick up their pieces. Yes, they've signed Farouk Mohamed from Hoho United, a striker who gets them a lot of goals. But then the results are not going well. Faisal Chawote is yet to score a goal for them. At the defense, they have some good players because they want to play the 3-back system with Kwame Boache, Razak Simpson, Samuel Osei-Kuffour. But the results are not coming because the team is yet to gel. And that would be a difficult encounter playing against Medeama SC.
Kasim Mengo Okanse coming up against Ibrahim Tanko, who lost his last game when he led Medeama to face Karela at the Aliou Muhammad Sports Stadium. But he's hopeful that coming back at home, things would go their way.
We are playing home, and we are playing like always. We want to create chances, we want to score, we want to keep clean sheet. Nation is a very good team with a very good coach behind them. And I think we play them also at Century Camp, so definitely we know something about them. It's not going to be easy, but like I said, we are playing home, we want the 3 points. All the 3 points are very important, and it doesn't matter which team you play in. I think playing home, you need to have your points. So this is what we are working for the weekend.
I'm not sure you could win this match because, like, you might be able to win points. Say no, target I set no. Set in what year 70 matches now, 1 year, will be able points for him. It's
going to be very, very, very tough game, and we are preparing for it because it's not going to be easy. Medeama is not a distance, a very strong side. So we're not going to find it easy, but as we are determined to go and play and get a good result, we will go.
We need to do better. We need to try harder because the performance-wise was okay, but we need to take our chances. We had a lot of chances, but we need to bury.
Razak Simpson, there, defender for Nations FC. You heard from their manager as well, Kasim Okansi Mengel, and they are coming up against Medeama at the TNA Stadium. Big game to look forward to. But Eric, one team that is in dire need of 3 points at the moment and would do anything for 3 points is Dreams FC. They are coming up against Vision FC. It looks like Wilfred Dortmund has not really gotten a hold of the team yet.
No, I think
3 games, 3 defeats.
Dortmund he's somehow unlucky because I watched match day 1. I watched them at the Kandu Sports Stadium.
Yeah.
And how they did not find an equalizer in that game, it's still surprising to me. And they play all the beautiful football, they fail to take their chances. But this is a fight between 2 brothers, Vision and Dreams FC. Hopefully, Wilfred Dortmund and his charges will be able to pick their first 3 points of the season.
Okay, now I spoke to Christopher Eni, the head coach of Samartex in Abrankese, and he talked about the fact that they need to win their next game. Match day 4 has to be a win because they've gone 3 games without a win. They are coming up against Adriana, who looks good this season.
Yes, Adriana looks good at home, but not away, and that is the advantage for FC Samartex. But you see, Coach Christopher Eni is making this point because they are the draw masters. If you look at the league table, Samartex 3 matches, 3 draws, and that is not good for a side that really wants to compete in the league. Of course, you might not want to win the league or you might not be contesting for the league, but at least in the top 4, you should be seeing FC Samartex battling in there. For Adriana FC, like you mentioned, the names are good. Remember Domakon, Mizak Efui, Obin Setra Gregory. These are players that Bright J, Yimano Mafu. They have a lot of names, but then they are yet to gel up. I'm sure Coach Yoba Aristika would also attest to the fact that they really struggle in winning matches. In their match they won against Karela, they lost. They came home in 2 games. They've managed 2-1 victories, and that is a positive one. But it looks like opponents, even at Doma, still gets the advantage to play well. Nations FC lost 1-0. They won against Suedo Blacks 2-1, but not a convincing win. Maybe this is a game for them to prove to us that they are one of the sides to watch this season. But a big advantage for FC Samartex, looking at how Adriana FC performs away in recent performance.
Now, after 3 games in the Ghana Premier League, Karela United are second on the table. Eric, they are coming up against Hoho United, who are also in search of their first win. A lot of pressure on Coach Tijani. You've seen your former club, Karela. They are performing well.
Two of my teams. I mean, Karela had no option because the last 3 seasons, they've battled relegation every other season. And so it was just good for them to start this season very well and avoid going back to fight till the last end before they would survive and all that. Hohoi are a bit disappointed because the way they played against Hearts of Oak, everyone thought they were going to play the same way against Young Apostles at home and win. They drew that game and then came to Vision, who themselves are not too convincing, and yet they lost that fixture by 2-0. So clearly, it's a daunting task for them at the famous Hohoi Stadium, but they have no option. If they really want to stay in the league, if Tijani, my good friend, wants to keep his job, then he needs these 3 points.
I'm sure one other man who will be looking at keeping his job is Neodati Lamte. Now, I was surprised when the kind of football they exhibited against Accra Hearts of Oak. This time they are coming up against Young Apostles. They are also chasing their first win.
Home away from home, and at the Suedo Stadium, it's an open play, open fixture for everyone to win. And one of the things I keep saying is that the new Young Apostles team is mature. Last season, in their debut season, Matthias Van, Zuka Masaudu, Kuka, these were young players. Richmond Opoku, Opoku had the goal for them in their game against Dreams FC and also Hoho United. If you look at how they display their performance on the field of play, it gives you the idea that they now know what they are doing on the field of play. Now, they are playing against 11 on their side, like you said. A team that is being built by Neodati Lamte. They have about 13 of the players that gained promotion with the side last season. But then they are yet to gel because it's a complete team being built by the coach. If you look at the goalkeeping department, it's Joseph Ban, former goal stars. He's a former 11 Wonders goalkeeper, but he's back again in the squad. And the entire team, one of the discovery would be Frank Aweri. And I think that if 11 Wonders can go all out and win this fixture, then they would have to create more chances because Against Hartlepool, they did that. They failed to convert their chances and they lost that fixture. One of the things I've observed about them is that sometimes when they are playing against big size, the confidence and motivation is higher. And when they are playing against a normal size, it becomes difficult. That is why they lost to Heart of Lions by 4-1. They went ahead to draw against Basake Uli Stars 0-0. They lost to Heart of Folk. And a big responsibility. Mutala, like you said, Ni or Datilamte cannot afford to drop this fixture or fail to win this fixture. And that would be a big blow for the 11 Wonders side.
Pressure mounting on Ni or Datilamte, and one man who understands what pressure is Ignacio Sosefusu, the former coach of Medeama, former coach of Dreams FC. I mean, he is watching the show and he says he extends his greetings to you all. But after 3 matches in the Ghana Premier League, Heart of Lions are leading the pack with 9 points. Asante Kotoko have played just 1 game, so has Gold Stars, and they've won those games. They will be looking at beating Heart of Lions for the first time since 2015. It is not going to be an easy one for them. But for Bechem United, they will be coming up against Heart of Folk. They have just a point from the 3 games that they've played. The Phobians are flying high. This time they are third with 7 points. So it's going to be an interesting one as we look forward to all the games. So tomorrow, as you know, we'll be bringing you that game between Bechem United and Heart of Folk at the Nana Fosuji Abo Park. The game is at 3 p.m. and will be live on TV3 and on Unia TV. Then we move to Saturday, where we have another game to look forward to, because Swedru All Blacks will be also coming up against BBN Gold Stars. Another big game at 3 p.m. on TV3 and on Unia TV. Then we wrap up our coverage of match day 4 at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. Asante Kotoko, they are back to the domestic front. Big game. They are coming up against Heart of Lions. Quick one. Let me take your predictions. Which matches are you looking for? No, let me go straight. Kotoko, Heart of Lions. How do you think that one will end?
A difficult fixture, but advantage for the home side.
Eric?
Draw.
What about the game between Heart of Folk and Bechem United?
I see another draw.
Oh, Eric. What about you, Moshe, and Bechem Heart of Folk?
Away win or draw.
Away win or draw. Then the final fixture that you say you are looking forward to, Swedru All Blacks, BBN Gold Stars.
Home win.
Home win.
Yeah.
You?
Home win.
I know he said and he starts out playing a game, because I know where Savan has a soft spot for All Blacks. And so he's not really sure about where this one will go. But it has been another interesting edition, of the GPL build-up show here on TV3. Thanks to Eric Alagidede and Shaban. You'll be seeing them often on the show. But be reminded that tomorrow we are bringing you coverage of that game at the Nana Fosuji Abo Park. Bechem United coming up against Heart of Folk. My name is Mutala Yakubu. Do keep up with us throughout the weekend, because we have something interesting for you on TV3 and on Unia TV. Till then, it's bye for now.
Funeral announcement. Chief mourners Ni Kwaku Fiti the Fourth, Fitiwe Manche, and his Akwashon, executives of Fitiwe, Edmund Teko Ayi, principal head of Ayi Kwame family, Archibald Ayi, head of Amunche